Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today we're going to talk about eating on your steroid and PED cycles. I have two disclaimers for you today. The obvious first one, I am not a doctor. Anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. What you do with this information is completely and utterly up to you, and I am not condoning nor advising you to use any of the things that we discuss in any way, shape, or form. Second disclaimer, if you clicked on this video and you're hoping for this magical cookie cutter answer, that's not what this video is about. This is an explanation on understanding, how people are different, etc. when it comes to diets and how you respond to steroids, PEDs, whatever. But don't click on this and go, okay, I'm going to learn exactly how to eat top to bottom, da-da-da-da. That's not what this is about. All right? But I just want to make that clear so you don't feel like you were misled. All right, but I am going to give you some facts on, things that may seem a little common knowledge and some understanding here for you. So I always get this question, and oftentimes it's very vague. Well, what should I eat on cycle? Well, hey, I don't know. I don't know if you're bulking. I don't know if you're cutting. I don't know what compounds you're running, etc. So let's say you give me a breakdown of what you're running on your cycle. You tell me you want to cut. I can tell you that in the cutting phase, or if you're, and cutting can mean several things. With steroids, when you say you're cutting, generally because steroids are not weight loss drugs, that means that you're trying to cut down body fat, which, you still want to have your diet in check, but it may be a little different than going for total weight loss, where with total weight loss, you're in a huge caloric deficit. You might be training a little bit different, but let's, for argument's sake, you're cutting, chances are you're going to want to be eating below maintenance, or you're going to have an extremely clean diet that's at maintenance. And you should be eating clean anyway on cycle. But, cutting fat is going to require you to make some sacrifices. All right? Cutting down on sugars, cutting down on fats, being very strict, consistent. If you're carb sensitive, keeping carbs lower. You don't have to be on a carb restricted diet to cut fat and to lose weight. Okay? Some people do require less because they are very carb sensitive. It just depends on the person. But when you're in a cutting phase, you have got to understand that sacrifices are going to have to be made, certain foods are going to have to be eliminated, things of that nature. Now, if you're on a bulking phase, obviously you're going to be eating in a surplus. Now, I can't tell you by you just telling me what you're running without knowing one thing about you, how many calories over. 250 calories over may be plenty for you. You may respond to compounds and steroids extremely well. Some people have a little bit trouble, gaining size or weight. I'm not going to say the word hard gainer because I hate that term. Let's just say it's a little bit more difficult for some people, because it is. But anybody can gain weight. They just have to figure out what their body needs, because everybody's different, and some people do definitely have a harder time. I just hate that term. But that's what you have to do with this trial and error, all right? So everybody is going to have their set of requirements. Now, the key here is, well, I take that back. Well, the key for your health internally is that you don't want to just start feeling like because you're bulking, you have a license to eat everything in sight, because while that may help you gain weight, it's probably not going to be clean weight, and you may not care, but you should care, because you specifically should care about your internal health, your cholesterol, for example, your blood pressure, things of that nature. But you don't want to be gaining a bunch of fat on cycle. 99% of the people don't. I do run into people that say, I don't care, I just want to gain weight. But what good is that? What good is gaining a bunch of fat to say that you're 250 pounds? Anybody that looks at you is going to laugh. All right, it's not impressive. So, some people, I guess, are aiming, they got to make weight for something, I don't know, but it's not a wise move, all right? But regardless, if you're trying to bulk, and remember, food is imperative on any cycle, right? And food is imperative in general. Diet is everything. If you're looking at a breakdown and you go diet, training, and then PED, steroids, compound supplements, whatever, the diet is well over 50% of that. It's more like 70-75%. All right? Obviously, training's important, and the steroids and PEDs are 5 or 10%, maybe. All right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, diet 65, 70, training 20, 25, steroid PEDs 5 to 10. All right? So diet is everything. The problem is is there's no straight answer on diet. There's some general things, but everybody's different. Now, recomposition is as tricky as it gets. All right? Generally, when I'm helping people with recompositions, what I tell them to do is to start a little bit below maintenance. 100 to 150, maybe even 200 to 250. Remember, steroids, SARMs, they preserve muscle. So you can still get away with eating in a calorie deficit, preserving muscle, gaining muscle, and in a recomposition, the object is to gain muscle and maybe even weight and lose body fat. All right? So you want to gain 5, 6, maybe even 10 pounds, but drop 1 to 2% body fat. Well, that's a tricky balance. That's one of the most difficult things to do, but trust me, it can be done. All right? But generally, I aim to start people a little bit below maintenance to get that fat drop and still, depending on the compounds, more muscle-preserving compounds to give you that ability to still gain muscle in the process. Things like equipoise, T-ball, they're great for recomposition, even Primabol and Trenbolone, because they still are going to add muscle and help you to still stay dry, lean, and possibly cut fat. So the diet is so complex, all right? And it takes constant adjustments. I mean, trust me when I tell you, as you get older, things change too. Certain foods that you can't handle as well, you know, in terms of how your body metabolizes them, how they affect your weight, etc. Those are all things. I don't care how well you think you have your diet locked in. You still have to make tweaks. You still got to make changes throughout your entire life. And your goals are going to change and things are going to change. There's no cookie cutter answer. There's no, oh, I've got this down, because things constantly change. All right? And that's the point of this video, is to explain to you, to lose the misconceptions and to understand that this is far more complex than anything else that you're going to do really in bodybuilding is diet, diet, diet. That's as complex as it gets. That's as difficult as it gets. And that's the biggest struggle and the biggest fight that we're all going to face throughout all of this. But it can be done. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes discipline, consistency, and the one thing that most of us don't have, patience. So, that's diet with steroids, PED cycles. I hope this helped you and gave you a better understanding of this. So, that being said, www.icearms.com/forums. I'm also in the evolutionary forum as well as the elite fitness forum. You can also email me at dylan@icearms.com. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.